I was very proud to have my kids at Lincoln Lutheran. Every day I was assured that that which is most important was being instructed and being modeled, and that being eternity. Jesus Christ proclaimed boldly every single day, every single class, math class, science class, English class, and they're getting a great education, but that foundation of faith is a difference maker for eternity.
You know, I would add that it wasn't always easy getting my kids up and driving them 40 minutes to school. And sometimes the kids would get mad, and why are you making us do this? Why are you making us do this? But now my kids are having their own kids, and the commitment and their understanding of the Christian education is just, they're like, Dad, we're not going to do anything else. That's actually part of the marriage discussion that they have as they're dating their future spouses. Is, you know, my daughters have just told their husbands who aren't Lutheran or who aren't kind of sort of Christian, they're just saying, you know, it's just not an option. You know, this is who we are as a family, because they value Christian education so much. So I would say that, yeah, you know, your kids might fight it a little bit. You know, Johnny, my friend Johnny, is going to some such and such a school too, but they will value it as they get older and as they become more mature and adults too. So, you know, it's well worth it. I mean, my kids weren't given an option, but it is well worth it.
Every human being chooses their own path. We as parents cannot give our faith to our kids. All we can do is be humble to the Lord, be guided by His Spirit, and parent as well as we can, and likewise in the classroom. We want to give salvation to our kids. That's not our job. It's not possible. Likewise, what you were saying about your children, my own have a sophomore in college, a junior in college, and a grad student, and to have watched now as they face some of the struggles of that segment of their life, that next step, and really in your face antagonism at times against their faith, how rooted they are. Now again, we're not saved because we're knowledgeable of God. We're saved because we have an intimacy with Him. But that's there in addition to the apologetic side of it. They can defend why they have faith. And I'm most excited that I think the Lord has used each of them in wherever they are in their walk, and at the college level, and in the summertime when they're out doing this or that. They have been used as instruments to share the good word to others, and that I couldn't be more satisfied, more humbled by that, encouraged, I guess, as it were.
Yeah, it's really fun when your kid comes home and says, for spring break, I'm going to lead a mission trip, which I kind of blew me out of the water when she told me she was going to do that, because I was kind of looking forward to her coming home, but I'm like, hey, that's a really good idea to do that. I'm reminded of something my uncle used to say. He said, it's not a matter of who you are, but whose you are. And I think as we have our kids leaving home, you know, you always say, hey, remember who you are as a Christian, but I think that they have taken that from here and left home and remember that they are indeed God's children.
As blessed as our kids are, isn't it true? You and I have been so blessed to teach here at Lincoln Lutheran, and all the more, given the subjects that we teach. We teach science. You know,
and Mr. Rickords does too, which he can't be here right now because we have to be 6 feet apart.
That's true. And I'll tell you, he does a great job with our middle school kids.
Maybe we can zoom him in sometime soon.
Hello, my name is Jeff Rickords, and I'm the middle school science teacher. I teach 7th and 8th grade science, 7th grade health, and 7th grade computer use and applications. Just a quick rundown on what we do for middle school science, and then a few highlights as well. Number one, we have in 7th grade science, we teach cell structure, cell reproduction, genetics, moving into some life science topics, organization of life, taxonomy, those types of things. And then we hit earth science, rocks, minerals, earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, everything that you'd kind of expect to see in a earth science section. And then we wrap up with some physics, or physical science, looking at energy transfer, states of matter, that type of thing. And then it gets us to 8th graders. 8th graders, we start the school year with chemistry and looking at the periodic table, types of chemical bonds, and then I'm pretty jazzed. Our students are able to write and balance chemical equations. And from there we move on to physical science with the 8th graders. Newton's laws of motion, forces, momentum, simple machines, energy transfer, those types of things. And then we kind of wrap up the school year with some human anatomy, and we hit the digestive system and the urinary system. Those are the two organ systems that we take a look at. So we look at their structure and function of all their parts, just to give them a little taste of human anatomy as well. We do have the opportunity to do labs, and we have a very nice chemistry physics lab that are able to take the middle schoolers over to and utilize. We are pretty blessed to have some good equipment to use that middle schoolers get to partake in and use that as well in their labs. So that's a lot of fun to see them use some collect their data at a very precise rate. I guess a couple of other things here to wrap it up. I'm blessed to be able to teach at Lincoln Lutheran, where we teach Christ crucified, and I get to teach science from a biblical worldview. And so I get to include God's Word in and throughout the science lessons. That's a special treat for me, not only to be able to share the good news of Christ, but also to see that faith growth in my students. We do have Science Bowl team. It's a lot of fun. So it's a quiz bowl concerning science and math concepts. And then finally, just kind of want to mention, last year we initiated a Skills USA chapter here at Lincoln Lutheran for our middle school. It's an after-school club, and get to do some engineering challenges and some construction type things. But the kind of the main draw was robotics, and we have 4 VEX robots that students work through, constructing and tearing down and rebuilding and working through problems, coding them to perform functions. And so that's been a lot of fun. And I have to brag on our team from last year. Last year we finished 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the middle school Skills USA Nebraska conference in the robotics program, and qualified to go to nationals. So that's quite the highlight, and a special treat for me to watch those kids really work through those problems and solve things. So a lot of fun. It's good to see them utilizing the things that concepts and things that we've learned in science class, outside of class, in real world situations. So that's middle school science. Appreciate you taking the time to investigate Lincoln Lutheran and the science program here at Lincoln Lutheran. If you have any questions, you can contact me at jrickords@lincolnlutheran.org. Love to hear from you. God bless.
So mathematics at Lincoln Lutheran, we in 6th grade we get them started off with algebra right off the bat, and in 6th grade it's just introducing a few concepts here and there. 7th grade you get more into those algebraic concepts, and then in 7th grade we go and we differentiate you from there. We have the lower level where we get to work on a little more, getting those concepts down and making them more concrete. We've got that 2nd tier where we've got them down, but we can get them even better from there. And then we've got that 3rd level where we've got them all down, and we can help solidify them even more to get them ready for those college level classes by the time their juniors and seniors.
What's really wonderful about Lincoln Lutheran is that we do offer the same advantages that kids would have in any school in Lincoln, except we're able to accommodate them in smaller classrooms, and so that we can really give them an individual attention. And then when they get into the upper levels, such as Algebra 2 and pre-calculus and calculus and statistics, they have the options of, again, working in small groups and small classrooms, but they're able to get college credit for those courses.
But we're getting more into a statistical foundation because you're seeing more statistics throughout the world. And so it's good. We've been introducing more of those things, having more statistics-based projects where we look at the world through a math lens and have those data-driven type projects.
To be a math person is a person who does math. That's all you have to be a math person. And I really encourage kids. Some kids come into class and they think, I'm not a math person. Yes, you are. Everyone can be a math person. And so I really like getting the kids where they are, and I do encourage them to come in if they need some extra help. We have a wonderful resource called AP to meet with their teachers if they're struggling most days of the week. And so I really encourage kids to come in during that time if they are struggling, because everyone has the ability to be a math person.
We use a lot of technology at Lincoln Lutheran. Our students are using it throughout the day as they're learning. Our teachers use it throughout the day as they're presenting material. But we don't have students in front of screens 8 hours a day. Our teachers are very conscientious about using technology when it really makes the lesson better, when it helps the students learn more. We've had technology in our students' hands in a one-to-one environment since about 2014, so we've gotten pretty good at it. All of our students can find their homework assignments online. We never have excuses like the dog ate my homework. That just doesn't come up anymore. And maybe more to the point, we don't have excuses like I didn't know what my assignment was, or I couldn't find my worksheet. Those are all available to students 24 hours a day. We have 2 computer labs. We actually used to have 3 computer labs, but since we're one-to-one now, we just don't need that many. Students carry the technology with them. They use it anytime it's appropriate throughout the school day. Our teachers use technology for giving assessments, for quizzes and tests. They use it to provide lessons, for research, for things like science fairs, to simulate complex science experiments that we couldn't normally do with the kind of equipment we have available. Sometimes our parents worry that all of their students having devices will mean they're more distracted, but we really find the students are pretty good at self-policing that. Our students like to use their devices, and so they don't want to have them taken away. It's very seldom that we have to tell them to put them away. They don't want that. Our students are also taught digital citizenship throughout the year. We break that up into whatever classes it's most appropriate. We might talk about copyright infringement in English class. We might talk about cyberbullying in health class. So they really learn how to use their devices appropriately, no matter what they're doing. Of course, we rely on parents for that as well. You have the ultimate say over what your students are going to be doing with their devices. As far as technology in middle school goes, for their computer classes, they start off with typing, but we move past that pretty quickly. We learn about spreadsheets, about word processors, about presentation software. We try to be pretty agnostic about that, whether they use Google Slides or Microsoft Word or Apple Pages. All of those programs should be pretty interchangeable. We want to teach them how to use a tool, not how to use a specific piece of software. Once they get to high school, they can branch out into some more advanced courses in the area of technology. We teach a couple of programming classes, Programming 1, Programming 2, Programming 3. We have video editing, website design, multimedia apps. Our students really do some amazing things in those classes. One of our students was in charge of the website for Congressman Fortenberry right after he graduated from Lincoln Lutheran. We've had students that have built websites that are used by our churches. In fact, right now we're working on websites for 3 local churches. So they really get some real-world experience. And that's nice to see them being able to do that and tying it into their faith as well.